Shalom, peace to you all. We are now in the city of David, and there's a viewing platform here. Wow, the mountains surround us on all sides. Standing here reminds me of Psalm 125:1-2. They that trust in Jehovah shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Jehovah is round about his people from henceforth even forever. Wow, we were just inside the city of David. This place dates back over 3,000 years, back to the time of the Davidic Dynasty. It's incredible that we're now walking through these ancient ruins from more than 3,000 years ago, exploring this long history and experiencing the glory of the Davidic kingdom at that time. In fact, the Davidic kingdom was considered the most prosperous and powerful period in the entire history of Israel. This makes me think of one of David's Psalms. Psalm 19 verses 7-10. What does it say there? This is a Psalm of David. He says, "The law of Jehovah is perfect." The word law in the original text is Torah, so the Torah of Jehovah is perfect, reviving the soul. The statutes of Jehovah are trustworthy, making wise the simple. The precepts of Jehovah are right, giving joy to the heart. The commandment of Jehovah is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Jehovah is clean, enduring forever. The ordinances of Jehovah are true and altogether righteous. They are more desirable than gold, even much fine gold. They are sweeter than honey, even honey dripping from the honeycomb. So from David's psalm, we can see that David was a king who deeply loved God's law, God's Torah. He could be said to be the king who followed the Torah most faithfully in the entire history of Israel. Therefore, he did his best to implement governance according to the entire Torah throughout the whole Davidic dynasty. So we can indeed see that when you govern according to God's Torah, truly according to his Torah, we undoubtedly witness God's great blessings and the prosperity of the entire nation, as we all know. Now here we can reflect on one thing, that God used the entire Davidic dynasty as a foreshadowing of the glorious reign of the Messiah when he returns. Moreover, the glory of the Messianic kingdom will be even more magnificent than that of the Davidic dynasty, and it will be governed entirely, 100% according to the Torah. Then we see in Ezekiel 37:24-28 that the Davidic dynasty is directly used here as a foreshadowing of the future Messianic kingdom. Let me read it for you. It says, "My servant David will be king over them." In fact, when it mentions David here, it is actually portraying the scene of the Messiah's return. It says, "My servant David will be king over them, and they will all have one shepherd. Then they will follow my ordinances and carefully observe my statutes. They will live in the land I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where your ancestors lived. They and their children and their children's children will live there forever, and my servant David will be their king forever." So here the Davidic dynasty is directly used as a metaphor for the Messianic kingdom. Moreover, it means that in such a kingdom the people fully obey God's laws, and when the Messiah returns, he will govern the whole earth entirely according to the Torah. So, from the glorious days of the Davidic dynasty, we can begin to imagine just a little what it will be like when the Messiah returns. That scene will be beyond anything we can imagine. And what's very interesting is that the city of David was established in Jerusalem. And as we know, the Hebrew original for Jerusalem is Yerushalayim, which is actually a plural form. The ayim ending indicates plurality. So here we can see that there is a Jerusalem on earth, and there is also a Jerusalem in heaven. And the meaning of Jerusalem is actually city of peace. Therefore, we can look forward to the fact that David seemed to try to bring the glorious vision of the heavenly Jerusalem into reality as much as possible in the earthly Jerusalem. But when the Messiah returns, it won't just be like that. It will be complete. After the Messiah reigns for 1,000 years, the new heaven and new earth and the new Jerusalem will descend from heaven to earth. We will see the heavenly Jerusalem and the earthly Jerusalem fully united as one. And we will indeed see Messiah Yeshua truly return, reign, and rule forever and ever. Amen.